What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a little three-part video. So depending on what you want to see in this video, you can cut to the certain segments of the video. I'll make sure to go ahead and put those times down in the timeline of today's video. The first section, we're going to go ahead and talk about the break and retest. We're going to talk about the SPY break and retest that I traded yesterday. This was a live trade. I have the entire trade recorded live. You guys can watch it. No interruptions, just straight live trading. I'm going to go ahead and talk through the trade idea first on the charts, and then we're going to go ahead and run the live recording. So that's going to be the first section. You're going to be able to watch my strategy, watch how I trade it, listen to how I talk to the group, sort of how I talk through the trade while I'm in it, right? Sort of the education behind it, sort of the management behind it, everything involved with me taking this SPY break and retest. You guys are going to go ahead and watch in the first segment of today's video. Now, the second segment of today's video is going to be a leap option, not quite a leap option, but a January 2025 call that I did open yesterday with the group. I took a September with the group, and then I also opened some January, so sort of spreading it out between a few expirations. A longer-term option contract that I did open on NVDA, and I just want to sort of break down why I did that, the technicals behind it, and so far how the performance of that trade has been. Just giving you an update on that larger-term trade, some technicals behind it, and some levels to watch on NVIDIA. The last part of today's video, the last segment of today's video, is going to be new levels and new levels to watch on both the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 futures. We'll also go over the SPY and the QQQ ETF. I think it's a great time to give you some updated levels to watch into tomorrow. Some really interesting action today, some key breaks above key levels, and I think it's a good update video to take a look at what we need to be watching for tomorrow on the overall market. So 3 segments today. Go ahead and skip to whichever one you want to listen to. If you want to watch all of it, which I would love if you would, make sure to just go ahead and enjoy the entire video. Press that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, guys, so the first thing that we're going to go ahead and review is just do an analysis on why I took this SPY break and retest yesterday. This was a break and retest rejection, a put option trade that I did take. This is the SPY over the last week, right? This is today. We can see this is today right here, Wednesday. You can't see that, but this is today right here. This is yesterday right here. This is today, right? This is Monday. This is Friday. And this is Thursday. So the last about 5 trading days of the week. And the first thing I want to go ahead and point out is our 543 level. Now, we can see here on the SPY the importance of 543. You can see 543 right here was some rejections. We did get above it, failed back below it. When we got back above it here, we went ahead and held, right? 543, 543. Over the Monday, which is the beginning of this week, Monday, we can see 543 and 543 held on. So we saw in the beginning of this week, Monday, that 543 was a very strong hold level. This was Monday's lows. So we had a Monday low of $543 on the SPY, which also, you guys can see, lines up very nicely with the 50 SMA. You guys see that yellow line across your screen? That is the daily 50 SMA. We can see a very nice low forming at 543. This was a low here that held on Friday, and this was also a rejection point that came in on Wednesday, that big downside day of last week. Now, yesterday, Tuesday, if we go into the short-term time frames, you can see we did get that flush right under 543. So that Monday low, if we go to the 30-minute chart, we'll go to the 30-minute, we'll zoom in a little bit. Let's go ahead and zoom into just yesterday and Monday right here. You can see, I'm actually going to go ahead and turn on the, the extended hours, to highlight the extended hours, so you can see those days very clearly. This is Monday right here. This is Monday. This is yesterday. And obviously this is today. So yesterday, on Monday, we had that very clear 543 hold, right? 543 pre-market or after hours, 543. Very clear 543 defense. That showed up on SPY on Monday at $543 per share. Now we can see yesterday we got a flush underneath that level. Now if we go into the short-term time frames, I'm going to go into the 2-minute chart. We are going to spot where the break and retest of 543 took place. So right here, we're going to go ahead and zoom in on the SPY, and this is yesterday's action. Yesterday, we can see a very weak market, and we right here flushed under $543 per share. Now, I talk about this a lot. I know I have a key level there, right? But I'm never going to just trade the straight flush. That's not something I like to do because it really exposes you to a lot of fake outs, right? You could get that little drop below. You can pop right back above. This could be a fake breakdown, a little liquidity grab, right? I don't like taking that trade. What I will wait for is I will wait for the market to slowly creep back up, back into that rejection point, and see if it's a break and retest rejection. At that point, I have more confidence to trade the level because at that point, I know where my stop loss is, and I know that sellers will step back in after that break of a key level. Again, I'm going to reiterate this. This is the prior day low. So let me go ahead and go to the last 3 days, and we can see right here, if we zoom in over the last few days, right, we can see this is the prior day low at 543, and even that after hour low at 543. So a very clear level here on the charts. We flushed below that yesterday. We flushed below that after hours low and that Monday low. Now, after flushing below it, you can either chase it, which I don't like to do, or you can wait for the break and retest to set up, right? The break of the key level, the retest of the key level, and then set up your short using that key level. What I love about the break and retest, once again, is that it sets up your risk reward, right? Because if I'm entering puts here, looking for this level to reject, my stop loss is very clear, right above 543, right? I'm only going to risk it right above that 543 and right above that 50 SMA. It just so happens that you had a double confluence here, which made me so confident in this trade. You had both the previous day low at 543 and that daily 50 SMA. So I can set up a real trade idea. I can say, all right, let's look for the break and retest of 543. Let's look for the market to reject previous day lows. Let's look for the market to reject the 50 SMA, and I will know exactly if this trade invalidates. If it gets above 543, if we sort of continue to creep higher and get back over 543 and hold above it, then I know my trade is invalidated, and I have that stop loss ready to go, and I write it off as a trading loss. That is okay. We are okay to be incorrect. But the likelihood here, and what we see often, is those break and retest rejections. And so we got exactly that. We got the break, we got the retest, and we got the downside continuation, which was quite beautiful on the SPY yesterday midday. Now, the key here, which you will hear in the live trading, is you have to wait for the market to creep back higher into that level. Now, why is this creep back higher so important? Because we have to structure our trade with proper risk reward, right? If we're entering here on put options, we cannot stop out until 543. Our stop loss has to be a static level. So if we're going to enter here, we are exposing ourselves, right? Entering puts here, we have a larger risk, right? That's now our risk tolerance. That is our risk profile. If we enter here, this is our risk, right? So a much smaller risk than entering here. This is your risk here versus the risk if you're entering closer to the level and closer to the actual rejection point. So it's very important to wait for that thing to creep back higher, right? And try to get an entry closer to that rejection point so your risk reward is much greater, right? So we have to be cautious and be aware of where that rejection point is, and we have to structure our entries making sure risk reward is in our mind. Now, what I also love to do when I look at a break and retest like this is I like to draw out that trend line, right? Because technically, what is this? This is a bear flag, right? So we have that drop, we have that bear flag pushing back higher, back into that rejection point, and there's two entries here, right? And I'll go back and forth on which one I'll enter. Sometimes I will enter right at my rejection point as close to that level as possible to have the highest risk reward. However, entering here does decrease probability slightly, right? Because you haven't yet broken that trend. What you can do in this situation, if you like to have maybe higher probability with maybe a little bit less risk reward, you can wait for that trend to break, right? So you can see right here on that 11:30 candle, we broke the trend, and that really was where things started to really get going. So if I zoom in on this chart, you can see right here, we broke that trend right here, which was a fantastic entry, right? But the problem is, not really a problem, but the downside of waiting there is that your risk is slightly higher, right? You still have to stop out over 543. That still has to be your stop loss. If you enter up here, right, that's your risk versus, let's say, that being your risk. So a little bit more risk to get higher probability. you're paying for that probability. That's pretty much all it is, right? So you just got to decide what you want to do. If you're willing to take it a little front run, right? Front run the trade a little bit, have a higher risk reward and risk less money, then I don't mind entering as you start to see weakness up at your supply, up at your break and retest level. If you want to wait for the trend to break, be my guest, right? I don't think anything wrong with that, but you have to keep that stop loss static. You have to understand that you're risking a little bit more on the trade. So I have this entire trade recorded live. You can watch exactly how we entered this, how we managed it, how we exited it, all steps of the trade completely live. This was a trade we took exactly in our voice trading, our live voice trading in the Discord community. If you want to join the community, link down below. But go ahead and enjoy the live recording, which you guys are going to watch right now. After you watch that, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into the NVIDIA chart and talk about those longer-term options that I did buy. If I do enter the SPY trade, just to get you guys prepared with what I have, I would probably be entering a 0DTE 543 put. I'm not in that. I'm just letting you know what I would be entering if I do like this trade. Still waiting for maybe another push higher into that 543. Waiting to see if that 50 SMA calls any kind of smackdown here. Also keep an eye on that 106.50 level on NVIDIA, guys. Alright, I'm taking an entry there. In some SPY 543 put, stop over 543. I'm going to try an entry here. I'll be willing to take another entry if it pops higher, but that's my first entry right there. Very possible that it could move higher, which I will add into. Just a little stab to start. And if it does pop higher, I will look to continue to possibly add into this as long as it lives under 543. Risking about 50 cents on the underlying. Come on down, SPY. Stay under that 50. Alright, I'm taking a little ad here on SPY puts. Average is 193, 196. Just need one little candle to drop through that trend. Just one little candle to drop through the trend. 5480 rejecting perfectly. Yes, I'm still in the Tesla swing. I'm going to exit under 226. That's my stop loss. Come on, SPY. Make it sexy. It's not going to make it sexy, guys. It's too good to be true right now, I think. But man, would I like it to be sexy. Markets don't always like to give us the sexy one, but this looks good. Up about 4% right now. SPY, I like that weakness on that candle. You want to start seeing these candles fail and these pushes higher, sort of like what it's doing right now. Yeah, that's good. Okay. I want to see upper wicks on these candles now. Okay, you see how that just did that? That's very good. That is fantastic. That's exactly what keeps you in the trade. This is important, guys. Pay attention to this. This is the type of stuff we're looking. Try to keep us in these trades. That's a very good wick there. Yep. Come on, SPY. Jeez, man. Break and retest. It's just so... You just can't beat it. You can't beat the break and retest. You simply cannot beat it. There's nothing better. Come on down, SPY. Yep. Come on down. To the price is right. Oh, yeah. 30%. Keep it going. All right, I'm taking some off here. Out half at 20%. Yeah, let it run. Go. Go. 40%. Yeah, I sort of wish I went like full-size SPX there, huh? All right, guys, so this is the daily chart on NVIDIA, and as NVIDIA has been pulling back over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, of course, you guys have seen some of the downside trades that I've been taking, but I knew that the downside had to come to an end at some point. And yesterday, we had a very large extension to the downside, and that large extension to the downside came right into the 100 SMA, the daily 100 SMA, which is a level that I will never short into. I respect the daily 100. I know the markets like to hold those 100 SMAs, maybe not so much longer term, but there's always some kind of a reaction there, right? Whether it's a dead cat bounce, whether it's just a little bounce that ends up failing, I don't quite care about that. I know that there's always going to be something of a reaction at a major daily SMA like the 100 SMA. So yesterday, we saw NVIDIA drop down into that level very aggressively and start to get bought up on the intraday. This was also at a very key demand level around $101.50. We had that previous low right here that we started to hold yesterday on NVIDIA. Now, there was a chance, and still in my mind before taking this trade, I still thought there was a chance of NVIDIA coming back down to 97, right? We had these previous highs at 97, and I figured, okay, it's possible that we could still move down to that 97, and if that's the case, I'm not going to exit this trade, but I want to make sure I tailor my trade according to that possibility, right? And so what I did yesterday was I took some September 20th contracts. This is, a month out, just about a month out, and I took $100 calls. So right here, you guys can see in the Discord community where we post our trades. I'll go ahead and show you right here. Let me go ahead and make that smaller. Right here, I went ahead and I took a September 20th 100 call on NVIDIA, looking to trade this off the 100 SMA, and I plan to hold this through earnings season and just see how it develops around this level, right? And so you can see right here, this is my portfolio. You can see the September 20th 100 calls. That is when I went ahead and I took. And so little idea behind why I took the contract I did. First, I wanted time, right? I wanted time to let NVIDIA sort of shake out around this 100 level, around this 101.50, around that 100 SMA. And I took it deep in the money at the time. Not deep, but maybe about $5 in the money at the time, because I wanted to let it sort of move up and down. I didn't want to get crushed if NVIDIA moved lower. I didn't want it to have really far out of the money contracts. I wanted to get those in the money contracts. If it moved down to 97, so be it. I'll stay in the trade. I'll sort of see how it materializes, how it sort of shakes out. But I wanted to sort of start that position there yesterday. $100 calls, nice psychological level that we were approaching. We had that 97 demand, which I knew we would. I was very confident that we would at least bounce off of 97 in this situation. So I took that month out contract, $100 calls in the money. And today, the rest is quite history, right? So you can see, we'll go ahead and go into that shorter term time frame. We'll go into the 30-minute chart, and you can see yesterday, which is where that downside came in. Look at where that 100 SMA started to hold, right? So I started the spot NVIDIA holding that 100 SMA. I saw that very strong wick at that $100 level, pushing NVIDIA back higher, and I really, really like that, right? So I was willing to start opening that position. NVIDIA is about 30% off the highs. We were heading into AMD earnings, so I figured there could be some sympathy there, and so I was willing to take that shot. I had those September $100 calls, and you can see that we had a beautiful push since that entry point yesterday. We entered those around 1:12 p.m. Do I have my broker open? I do have my broker open. So let's go ahead and just pull that in. You guys can see right here, another huge day for me, $10,000, accounts up to 125. And here are those September 100 calls right there. They're up 67% as of now. So that was my play that I took. I plan on holding these guys, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about, I'm going to move to my face real quick because I'm going to pull up my E-Trade account. I'll show you guys what I have in an E-Trade account as well. I plan on holding these. I do not plan on selling these. I will honestly look to possibly exercise this contract. I have one contract. If I have to, I'll look to exercise it, right? I'll buy those shares at $100 on NVIDIA. This is not a position that I plan on selling. I wanted to buy NVIDIA shares on the pullback. There's no doubt about it. I'm not going to be scared of buying NVIDIA down 28% off the highs. I never will be. And I was looking at this as a potential option exercise. So I'm potentially going to continue to hold these, obviously depending on what NVIDIA does, and I will potentially exercise these when that expiration comes around. I wanted to go ahead and show you the other NVIDIA that I did take right here. You guys can see this is my E-Trade account. Let me zoom in. And you can see I did take the January 2025 100 calls as well. I took those at the same exact time. Those are up 50%, up about $7,000, a little bit larger of a position here. So if we go to my orders here, guys, you can see this is when I went ahead and I took those around 1:14 p.m. I took those January 17, 2025 100 calls, bought 8 of them at 1906. That is the same time that I went ahead and I let the group know that I was buying those Septembers. 112, I bought these at 114. So I was sort of peppering this between September contracts and January contracts. Idea is the exact same here. So I am going to continue to hold those as well on NVIDIA. So we'll see, right? We'll see. I like that dip buy. I'm very happy about it. Just wanted to update you guys on something that I have been, that I have done. And for NVIDIA, I just want to share with you guys quickly some analysis that I will be watching. At this point, you want NVIDIA to stay above 116.50. As long as NVIDIA stays above 116.50, I think that upside continuation is valid. We have to be careful, of course, of that 50-20 SMA, and of course, this supply up here at 125. But for now, I would continue to look to see if NVIDIA can hold above 116.50. If it can, I like the upside continuation. If we fail back under 116.50, I'm not as much of a fan. I would probably look to take some profits if we did break back below that, because that would be a pretty key structure break, and I wouldn't really think that NVIDIA could hold up at that point. So at this point moving forward, guys, keep an eye on that 116.50 on NVIDIA. If we hold above that, I truly believe that this thing can try to slide higher. All right, guys, so the last part of today's video is going to be a quick update on NASDAQ S&P levels. The first thing we're going to start with is the NASDAQ futures, and man, are we coming into a big level here on the NASDAQ futures, guys. I would be very aware of this 19,750 level. This is a major low here on the NASDAQ futures. You guys can see. Look at how many times this NASDAQ held above 19,750 before ultimately flushing back there last week, right here around under 19,750, right? The break under 19,750 caused that downside move, and we are now trading back into it. So what do we need to be aware of? We now need to be aware of this being a potential rejection point. That is still very possible here. The market was nice today. It was a very nice upside move, but I am not going to pretend like this is out of the weeds yet, right? We need to get back over 750. We need to reclaim that daily 50. This is going to be a big spot tomorrow. Please be watching this. This could absolutely be where the market rejects. If we do reject there, I think we will trade back down to the 19,400. If we get over 19,750, that is a major break for the market and a major reclaim above 19,750. I think we will trade back up into that 20,060 level. So tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this hourly chart. Be on watch of this 19,750 level. Be watching that daily 50 SMA. That is a big spot for the market tomorrow. What I do like is how the NASDAQ market is holding above 19,400. You can see 19,400, 19,400, previous double top highs. Look at how that held as support today. So that's important as well. So now we can very clearly see 19,400, 19,750. That's our new range there. We have to hold over 400 to push into 750. If we fail back under 19,400 on the NASDAQ futures, you are right back under this week's highs. That is not good for the momentum of this market. So 19,400 must hold. If we do 19,750, that is your next supply level to watch. On the QQQ, it is the exact same analysis. If we go to the 4-hour chart on the QQQ, we can see that we are approaching that same must-break level right here. That is 474 on the QQQ. Why? Look at this right here. 474, 474, 474. big time previous support that you are trading into right now. That is a must break level on the QQQ, and you can see today that is where we stalled. We had 474, we have 474. We need to get over that 474 in the QQQ. If we do, I like the upside continuation, probably up to that daily 20 or up to that 486. If we reject here, if we cannot get over that daily 50 and 474, we will trade back down to 468. 468 is the beautiful hold that came in today. This right here in itself, guys, is a break and retest long, right? Take a look at this. This is why I love the break and retest. In itself today, you had a double top high at 468 previously. Look at the break and retest long. Break, retest, long. Beautiful, right? That's the break and retest in all its glory. So if you get a pullback to 468, this is your new long spot on the QQQ. You have to be careful of 474. If we break under 468, that's a break and retest rejection. That could cause more downside. If we get a break over 474, look for that retest, look for that continuation. You are looking for the exact same thing here, up here, right? You are looking for that break of a previous rejection point and a hold above. Break of a previous rejection point and a hold above. All right? Very, very nice. S&P 500, we did the break and retest today of 5340. You can see right here, this was your 5340 previous rejection point. Break, retest, bounce, right? So that is a very key level now. 5340 must hold level on the ES. On the upside, the key rejection point that I would be watching at this point is 5590 right here. Take a look at this 5590 on the ES, guys. 5590, 5590, 5590, and today, that is where we stalled. 5590 on the S&P 500 futures. That is also the daily 20 SMA. Right here, where the ES stalled today, 5590. So very clear levels on the ES. 5590, 5540. We held above these previous highs today, right here. We have to continue to hold above that. If we fail back below the 40, we're going to move lower again. We have to get over that 5590 for that upside continuation. Last but not least, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at that SPY. SPY, I'm going to go ahead and put this back on my default levels. 1 second. Here we go. So SPY, the key level that we're watching now is right here at 55 or 554. Right here, 554. You guys can see, let me go ahead and delete that real quick. 554 is the major level that we're going to need to break above. If I go and zoom in on this hourly chart, you can see right here, 554, 554, and 554. 554 in that daily 20 SMA, that's going to be a tough level. We're going to have to be aware of that. The pullbacks, I would love to look for pullback longs at 548. Pullback here, hold that previous high, create a new long opportunity. If I zoom in, you can see how clear that would be. You guys can see previous high, previous high, previous high. Look for the break and retest long. 548. Watch out for 554. All right, that's it. That's it for today's video. We got all 3 segments done. I hope you enjoyed it. The live trade, the NVIDIA trade, some levels to watch into tomorrow. I hope you guys have been enjoying the content. I hope you're finding value from the time that I take to make these videos. If you are, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Before you go, check out the link down below. It's called Mentorship. The link says Mentorship. 2025, I'm considering starting some type of a mentorship program. Live trainings, hours of educational content that I don't have here on YouTube, much more in detail, minute, individualized, things that I'm going to go ahead and try to offer. I'm not for sure going to do this because time is definitely the problem here. This is going to take a lot of time. I'm going to put my all into it, and I'm going to make sure that everyone that joins definitely gets some type of an individualized experience. So if you're interested, let me know. If I get enough people to be interested, I would be interested in doing it and helping you guys and running you through some of these live trainings. But realistically, this is pretty far out, but I wanted to go ahead and gauge the interest. So check it out down below. Press that link, sign up, your name, your email. Let me know if you guys are interested. Don't expect much from me. Don't expect to hear much from me on this. I'll keep you updated with some updates, right? Sort of along the process of me creating it, whether I'm going to do it, whether I'm not. But if you want to stay up to date, check it out. Press that like button again, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.